Number one, it was not a great weekend series against the Twins. What stood out to you?
The same thing that stood out all year. It's just their inability to get anything going offensively that resembles rhythm, that resembles consistency. You get, a couple of good moments in an inning, or they look like they're threatening, and they're going to push across a couple of runs, and invariably, you got a runner on second and third with one out, and the next two guys come up and strike out. And, you had 39 strikeouts in 3 games. You scored 7 total runs. It's unsustainable. You cannot strike out that often. It kills rallies. I know the strikeout has been minimized with advanced metrics, but you see with this team, you can't minimize it because where those strikeouts take place in a game, killing rallies the way that they do, doing it as often as they do, it's something, listen, you're not going to, you can't change who these players are in terms of their production, but you can change their discipline and their approach at the plate, and something has to change. You just cannot strike out as often as they are, and you saw it in full display in that series.
Do you think the AL West is still a 3-team race, or is it just the Mariners and Astros?
It feels like it's just the Mariners and the Astros. The Rangers, every time I think they're starting to find it, they're going to get a little healthier, then they take a couple steps back. So I don't know that it's their year. In fact, if it continues this way, the World Series champs could be sellers at the trade deadline, which is odd. But right now, if I'm putting money on it, it's coming down between the Astros and the Mariners.
John Morosi reported Sunday the Mariners have already begun trade talks with the deadline a month away. What do you make of that?
I like it. It shows some urgency because you had a 10-game lead in this division a couple of weeks ago. It's 3 games as we're recording this right now. And I think that they see that the division is still there to be had. It's the best chance they've had in years to win this division. And maybe waiting until the deadline or getting close to the deadline when you got a ton of other teams that feel like they're in it. It's not just that the Mariners want player A and they have full access. They're going to be competing with other teams for that same player, whether it's Luis Robert, Vlad Guerrero, anybody we've talked about. There's going to be competition for those players. So I think if they get a jump on it, it shows the urgency that they seem to feel like, hey, let's get this going. We can't sit here and wait for the rest of this lineup to try and find it because right now the whole lineup is essentially cold. And if you're going to push that out till the end of the month, we're at the very beginning of July. They could be 5 games back by that point. So I like that they're at least starting dialogue, that they're at least showing some urgency there. Maybe it costs them a bit more in terms of the return, but as a fan, I like that they're at least, broaching the topic with other GMs out there. We'll see if they actually get something done.
How do you feel about the Mariners matching up with the Orioles next?
Orioles are a good team, man. That is a really good team who can hit the daylights out of the ball. Luckily, you're here at a pitcher's park, and the pitching staff is the biggest strength on this team. So I like the chances of the rotation limiting the damage that Baltimore can do. It still comes back to the offense. Is the offense going to be able to make it stand up? If one of the starters goes out there and gives up 2 runs, lately that's felt insurmountable. So you've got to give these guys more of a cushion. You've got to take some of the heat off of your starting rotation and your bullpen for that matter. Nobody's allowed to make a mistake. You feel like if they make a mistake, game's over because this offense just hasn't shown the ability to bounce back, at least on a regular basis. So I feel good about what the pitching staff can do. Still, like everybody else out there, curious to see if the offense is going to find it.